What up, y'all? It's your man, Abuamerican. Hopefully this is going to be a short video. I hate recording in this room. It's like all echoey. This kid, he's like all loud all the dang time. It's all echoey and the lighting is funny. Anyway, work with what you got, right? I want to talk about something. Hopefully this is going to be short. It's more of a rant. Just some concepts and ideas I came up with, and so I don't claim to have all the answers. Be 100% right. But one thing I want to say is, and I hear this a lot, and it's aimed more at women, although not specifically at women. And that's, men, you should know this already. Nobody owes you happiness. If you're not a happy person already, if you don't have internal happiness, you're not going to find it in a relationship. You're just going to be more miserable because you're going to look at someone else and you're going to take on their misery. You're going to be upset with them, who they are, how they are, what they are or aren't. And you're not going to be happy. It's going to get worse. It's not going to get better. So if you're not a person who can internalize, who internally finds happiness in themselves from what you do, your accomplishments or whatever else, or just how you are as an individual, you really don't have business going into a relationship looking for happiness. And you hear this from women a lot, and this is why I'm saying I'm aiming at this with women. It's not that I got something against women or whatever else, or I hate y'all or whatever else. This is some concept that a lot of people like to try and portray or say, in the comment section in my videos. It's not true, but really, I only hear women saying this. I deserve to be happy. Why aren't you happy? Don't say I deserve to be happy when you're speaking in terms of relationship. If you deserve to be happy, why aren't you happy already? A partner accentuates your happiness. They add to it. They can't take away from it. There are those leech people who just suck you dry. But generally, that's not the case. That's not the case. A lot of times people are looking for this Cinderella complex type stuff. This guy's going to come along, sweep me off my feet, make me feel this way, make me feel that way. And you're looking for something that another human being truly can't offer you. And if he does, then you have to think about it. It's sort of like governments and economies. The economy has to grow by 3% every year until it becomes impossible to grow by 3% every year. Yeah, it's like that. It comes to the point where diminishing returns take place. He's going to have to incrementally increase what he does to make you happy because your happiness isn't internal. It's external. And of course, I didn't make my video on this and I want to talk about it. Downregulation receptor transcription takes place, but basically it happens emotionally. There is a biological effect to it, but I'm not going to get into it. And basically what this means is you become addicted to something here, and then you no longer get high from that here. Now you need this to get high. So let's put it in terms of drugs. You started off with alcohol, then you turned to hard whiskey turned to weed turned to cocaine turned to meth turned to whatever. I don't know if that's the order, but you know what I'm saying. It's like that emotionally when you look for happiness from an external source. If you can't get naturally high off stuff, I get into the ring, I get dizzy when I'm talking about boxing. I get in the ring, I get dizzy, I get euphoric, and it's like, whew. And what happens? I have to fight better fighters, yes. But no matter what happens, if I fight like a crappy guy, I'll go in the ring and I'll just throw little kitty paws at him. I enjoy being there. It's just a joy I have in life. Just fighting sports, lifting, being fit at 40. I'm 44 years old. I'm in good shape and everything. It just makes me happy to be me and do what I like doing. And if you can't go into a relationship like that, what are you going to do? I've not been in a relationship with a woman in the past 5 years to where I can say that I went to her with some sort of expectation to make me happy. Keep my winky wet. And, so I ain't going to go outside looking at women feeling like I got to blow up in my pants. And we're good. I don't ask women to cook, to clean. I don't ask her to do anything else. If she does it, awesome. High five. That makes me just love the heck out of you, woman. I'm going to look at you even greater than I already do. But it's not something I expect. It's not part of my being happy with you as an individual. And really, you shouldn't feel the same. You shouldn't feel any different about your partner as a woman when you come into the relationship as, with a man. Men, we've had to deal with this because this is how society deals with us in general. You get nothing unless you provide something. You have to find satisfaction in yourself because we are thankless beings. Society craps on men. Look at the commercials, look at TV, look at the way they just portray men in media. They made us to be crapped on. So we have to find self-sufficiency and happiness within ourselves, or within our homies, or within our sports, or whatever else. This is something we've become accustomed to. And I'm not saying high five to guys and women are crap or whatever else. You got those needy guys out there, and you want to avoid those type of guys, because those are the type of guys that'll kill you when they get upset and you don't meet their expectations. Because a man, generally he deals with his frustrations, his hurt, his pains, or whatever else in terms of anger. And if he's not a guy who's learned to emotionally control himself, he will become emotionally uncontrollable and dangerous. We call them psycho simps. You call them murderers, abusers, or whatever else. And even I suffered from this malaise at one point in my time before I actually started looking into red pill, into game theory, and these type of other things. Mastering frame. And women, you want your man to understand game. Because we understand that everybody has down times and everybody has down moments when they're going to feel bad. And then that's when externally a person can help you bring balance back to where you're supposed to be. But you have to be that person initially. You can't be off balance and then come into the relationship and expect the person to bring balance to you. He doesn't know what your center point is. He doesn't know where your happiness lies. It's like coming to a scale and it's off kilter. You know how the scales work, the old school ones. And you don't know what weight is on the other side. How do you find balance if you don't know what the weights are? What balances it? Is the scale broken? Is it fixable? Is it even functioning? And you can't expect a man or a woman, if you're a man, to fix that for you. That's you. And you have to deal with that on your own. I was dealing with a situation. And it's just like people are talking about, in relationships, I'm not happy. Why not? Your partner said they're happy. They made no demands on you. They didn't, they didn't really ask a lot of you, if anything. And when the questions were asked, it was like, what is he demanding of you? What are you demanding of him? And she's demanding happiness, and he's just saying, I'm good. And so when I look at the situation and try and resolve it, there is no resolution. One side is totally free of expectations. They just want to live with their partner in the best possible way. The other one is expecting happiness. And it's like, define your happiness. I want this, and he should be like that. And it's this long list of stuff. And it's just like, why don't you you didn't have this before you came in a relationship. Why would you come here? Are you shopping? You come with a shopping list. And if you were coming with a shopping list of stuff, what's your currency? Is your currency hoo-ha? A happy woman has hoo-ha. If you're a miserable woman and you have hoo-ha, well, where's the balance? Your currency is crap. You got to find that balance. Both men and women, but predominantly to ladies, because you hear this from women a lot. I deserve this and I deserve that. And remember, I made that video about you don't deserve a good man. A lot of women don't deserve a good man. You can't give yourself happiness a lot of times. How do you expect someone else to give it to you? It's like going out and, this is the problem with government handouts. People expect the government to give them money, but you're not even willing to go out and get it yourself. It's the same concept. You have to be able to work for what you want, and you have to internalize that. Nobody can teach you work ethic. Well, yeah, actually, work ethic can be taught. But if you don't have it, you have to learn it to go get it yourself so you can appreciate the things you have, because the one who receives everything appreciates nothing. And this is why so many relationships are falling apart nowadays, because people are receiving stuff that they themselves are not willing to work for, to get internally. They're not willing to internalize themselves, their own happiness and work towards it. And if someone comes along and they can accentuate that and add to that, awesome. But they're not the source of it. Ladies, you got to give up this idea. It's destroying your relationships. I swear to you, 90% of your relationships are destroyed because of that. And if you really look back and think about it, it's just starting problems over stuff where you feel like you deserve something. And if you really look at it, it's like, why didn't I get that for myself? I was married to this woman. I got married to her, and she was like, oh, now that I'm married, I'm going to get this. I'm going to get a BMW. I'm going to get that. I'm going to get this done. I'm going to get that done. And I was like, yo, am I your poverty alleviation program? Why didn't you have all this stuff before I showed up? She didn't really have a solid answer for me. It was expected that I come and provide all that stuff. And I'm like, well, you're not willing to work for it. How are you going to appreciate it if I get it for you? You won't appreciate it because you don't know what it's like to go out and get it yourself. I was given a car by my martial arts instructor. Guy was an amazing martial arts instructor. Loved him, Taekwondo. He gave me a Toyota Corolla. It was a little piece of junk, but it was a free car. and I drove that car in the dirt. I remember driving it through the woods, banging it around, crashing into stuff. I just didn't appreciate it. I didn't pay the insurance on it like I was supposed to. Even though I was working, I just didn't appreciate it because he gave it to me for nothing. Nowadays, you do that, I'm going to be like, oh, shoot, homie, you know what? I'm going to take care of it because I understand what it takes to go out and buy a car, pay the insurance on it, take care of it, maintenance and all this stuff, so that it works and functions properly. Because I have that appreciation. This is stuff you have to learn as an individual. And this goes for your happiness too, not just like a physical object like a car or a phone or whatever else. Ladies, you have to internalize this stuff. Or you're going to be miserable in your relationships. You're going to be miserable outside your relationships. Because you're going to go to a relationship expecting a guy to make you happy. And he's not going to be able to make you happy because you can't make yourself happy. Then you're going to be outside the relationship. And you're not going to be happy because you think you need to be in a relationship for someone to provide you with happiness. You'll be in a never-ending cycle of unhappiness. You can agree, disagree, let me know in the comment section. This is just my opinion. This is something I've observed over my years. I've had a lot more relationships, aka marriages, because I do my things halal, than I'd like to admit. I'm not free of blame. I don't say otherwise. I have my quirks as a human being, as you can see on my YouTube channel here. I've got my little madness going on. But looking back, I see a lot of stuff that's like, man, I'm glad that wasn't me. I see my mistakes and I can see my partner's mistakes. But a lot of times women don't want to, take on the responsibilities for the problems that they bring into a relationship. And I find that problematic. And this is one that I find to be a big issue. This idea that a man owes you happiness. And he can't. It's impossible. He can't owe you something he doesn't own. You own that. So own it. It's your man, Abuamerican. This is your man, Abuamerican. Catch me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all that. Abuamerican, I'm out.